Tuesdays. Look who's joining us. It's Richard Smith. Thank you. Welcome back, Rich. It's so good to have you here.
Hey,
And I'm Dean Regan,
welcome.
RSCP. Guess what? Today, we're talking about discovering our divine potential and stepping into our greatest self. To a certain extent, we talk about that every week, but we just choose different ways to talk about it, different ways into that. And today we have a question for you. We have a question. Are you listening? Are you ready? What if we told you that your life is like the seed of an oak tree, filled with all the information you need to be strong, confident, creative, and successful? What if we told you that?
Would you
Okay,
believe
we're
us?
telling you that. We're telling you that. So that's what we're
Actually,
talking
the
about.
same thing that's in the oak tree is within each and every one of us, because there's only one thing happening, and that's the divine expressing itself individually, uniquely as the oak tree as well as us. And so, what is, to me, what is that authentic self? What is trying to reveal itself in and as and through me? Isn't that what we're going to talk about today, Dean?
That's what we always talk about. But today we're going to bring the oak tree into it and this boulder that, well, there's two characters today. It's the seed of the oak tree and this boulder. Stay tuned. So that's what we're here for. If you want to know, oh, and welcome to all of our regulars. It is so good to see you. Our regulars are here, and we're going to be talking in the inner circle as we do every week, as we have for months, bringing upliftment into our experience, certainly into our experiences as moderators and into the lives of the people in the inner circle. If you want to know more about us, go to newthoughttuesdays.com, newthoughttuesdays.com. And if you want to be reminded and given the link so you can join our complimentary, wonderful inner circle, you can go to that website and click I want to be reminded, and we'll send you a gentle email about it. But enough of this marketing, whatever.
Yeah.
Today, we're talking about the DNA, your spiritual DNA, and your potentiality of that word. What you bring to the table and what that God's spirit brings to you. Now, the reason we're talking about it, I don't know about you, Richard, but sometimes I forget that I am this greatness. Sometimes I look at appearances and I buy this whatever. And it's days like today when we essentially what we're doing today is we're looking at Rich has got a great book, and there's 52 principles in it, and principle 20 talks about you did not create the character that you're playing in
Yeah.
this, the greatest story ever told. You are merely awakening to the self-discovery of this character that was created before you were born. And when you discover and grow your unique role in this movie called life, right, Richard?
Yep.
You will never again want to play the character that you once were. So that's what we're talking about. Principle 20.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier, Dean, about,
Yeah.
that within the seed is the oak tree. Okay. And that it's as long as you give it the right water and the right temperature and sunlight and nourishing soil, it's going to grow into a perfect oak tree. And then you
Right.
come up with the idea, you said, but what if there's a big brick or something on top of the uh
What if you put a bowl, if you like you've got this oak tree and you plant it in the soil, you cover up the soil and you water it and you're nurturing it, and you've got this boulder, then you just plop on top of it. When we were talking, Rich, it was a cinder block, but boulder is much more dramatic. There's this boulder that you put on top of it. What happens?
it doesn't grow into its full potential because it's not getting the right sunlight. It's not maybe the water's not being able to, get to it or whatever. And that analogy is what happens to us too when we buy into the illusion of separation from the divine.
Yeah.
We buy into the illusion, and that's when you were saying, Dean, that sometimes you're not in the vortex. Sometimes you're not in alignment with who you're meant to become, and you're trying to become something else, something different. and it doesn't feel right, things aren't working out the way you wanted.
Mhm.
And I've been going through this whole thing with marketing, as you probably hear every week, and I'm still working through it with my hypnotherapist and stuff. But, it's like the, trying to be something you're not. And I've been trying to be a marketer, marketing my business for years. And now I'm getting to the point where that wasn't within me. That I don't think that was a part of who I'm meant to become. I think it didn't feel good. And so what we're talking about is sticking with something that feels good, right, Dean?
We are. And since you brought up the word vortex, whenever I hear the word vortex, I think of Abraham Hicks because
Yeah.
they're big into vortex and this idea of also the idea that there is nothing more important than your sense of well-being.
Yeah.
And if your sense, which only you can determine, of well-being is being constricted, or there's a big boulder that has been put on it, whether it was provided by somebody else or provided by yourself, that boulder is your false belief.
Yeah.
And now the oak tree may well, this is a mighty oak, they don't call them mighty oaks for nothing. That mighty oak may grow out and around the boulder. It may push, it may just go the other way. It may envelop. You don't know what this mighty oak is going to do, but the metaphor is don't stop your good and don't stop your great by settling for your good.
Yeah.
Sense of, like you were talking about, you were using the M word of marketing there, Rich, that it was whatever it was, whether it was whatever task it was bringing you down, man. And
Yeah.
there, that sense of well-being, you were not adjusting your sense of well-being to embrace the joy of this M word
Yeah.
long enough that it's like, you know what? It's time to move on to something else.
Yeah.
And again, that's only you can only each one of us can determine how we move forward.
Yeah.
That comes from within.
Yeah.
And like the oak tree that has all of this DNA in it, you have spiritual DNA in you that you can call upon and trust. Call upon and trust. And
Yeah.
that's one of the indicators of that you've got, Rich, is it's like, this just isn't working for me. It does not feel like it's in my well-being.
Yeah. And I wasn't feeling authentic doing
Right.
it. What is the authentic you that's trying to reveal itself, trying to express itself, trying to uh shine through you?
Mhm.
We're all evolving. The oak tree, the acorn, is going to evolve into an oak tree. A caterpillar is going to evolve into a butterfly. And, in order to do that, sometimes you have to let things go in order to allow the things that are meant to be, that are in your DNA, that are in your uh, abilities to be able to create and do. So, sometimes, I mean, I look at my filmmaker crew and, my group, and, sometimes there's some and filmmakers out there and they're trying to make a film that's, a horror film because horror films are really hot right now, but yet the essence of who they are, they don't really want to be doing horror films. They're going to be better at doing maybe romance, love stories. And yet they don't think, oh, that's not going to sell, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do what sells. And I don't think that's what I'm talking about, being your authentic self,
Mm.
allowing that seed within you to grow into your greatest self,
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at every filmmaker that's been successful at what they do, it's because they're doing what's that burning thing within them, you know? I mean, if you take a look at the Spielberg films, he does movies that are like on a huge scale because that's the way he thinks. That's who he is. He doesn't do romantic films and stuff. Well, I guess he does, but he does them in a big way.
Well, this and two, this you're talking about the not only the actual world where people are making films, but your metaphor having to do with this is your life is your story. It is your movie that is this is your opportunity to experience and express authentic joy, authentic peace, authentic success. And you have the tools, you have within you the tools to embrace it all, allow it all, enjoy it all, receive it all, and share it all. And that's where these spiritual practices that we talk about, the meditation, the prayer, the affirmation, the reading and study, the forgiveness, the thanksgiving, the tithing, the service, this all comes into the idea of being your highest and best self. And that's where our whole topic is today. This idea that discovering your divine potential. I look at when you talk about the M word, Rich, I see that simply as you continuing to discover your divine potential
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And it,
and you stepping into your greatest self.
and isn't that what it's all about? It's about allowing that divine expression within us to reveal itself in and as and through each and every one of us, who we are, you know? Sometimes, it's like you get a gut feeling and intuition kicks in. That's the infinite wanting to move forward with that thought that you have, that idea that you have. And then you start taking action. All of a sudden, all these doors open up because you're in alignment with you're removing that boulder on top of the seed. You're removing the things, the fear, doubt, and the worry and the concern, and you're just moving in faith, knowing that this thing, this presence, this power and presence is revealing itself in and as and through you as your talents, as your gifts, as the ideas that you have, the visions that you have. Anything, I believe that anything that we can think about, that's just the infinite filmmaker, the creator of all it is wanting to create through us. It's using us as a divine expression to express itself in this world through our creativity, you know? And
And
so,
that is what New Thought Tuesdays, that's what New Thought Ancient Wisdom is all about. This idea of revealing these truths about ourselves, embracing them and celebrating them and allowing them. I was watching a picture, I was watching a video about a ballet dancer, and this ballet dancer was explaining how, his ballet dancers jump so high and it looks, wow, that's got a lot of muscle up there. The ballet dancer was saying the secret to my height of my jumps is that when I get up there, I relax my muscles. Well, not enough to go limp, but not to tense them. I relax them and I enjoy being there. I make this great leap and I relax and I enjoy being there. And the more joy that he finds in these leaps, the higher the leaps come. And I make that analogy for our oak trees. The more, so for instance, okay, so maybe I put hey, I've got this boulder, I planted this seed. Hey, I'm going to make sure that the seed doesn't get burned by the sun. I'm going to take this boulder and put it on top of it. What? What? If the boulder is your sense of unhappiness, your boulder, your sense of control, your boulder of sense that it needs to be a certain way, get rid of it. If the boulder is a sense of joy and peace, I suspect it won't be a boulder. It's
yeah,
that sense of relaxing into your highest and best self instead of trying to fit your shoe, your foot, Cinderella, into the wrong slipper.
yeah.
I'm just all with these analogies. And we've got ballet, we've got Cinderella, we got an oak tree. You brought it. I
And,
love the oak tree. I love that oak tree.
well,
So
even in sports, you take somebody who's in sports, and when they're in the zone and everything is just flowing, they don't think about what they're going to be doing. They just allow it to reveal itself through them, through just by allowing. It's like you see this great basketball player on a court, and
right.
they're making these moves, and they're not thinking about, oh, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do there? You know, what they're doing is they're just in the environment and allowing it to flow through them. their talents. And so, that's another example too.
Allowing our talents to flow through us, allowing
Yeah.
that seed that is planted to be in the soil and giving it time to grow, allowing it, nurturing it, trusting that what it is meant to be is greatness. Even if it's a little tiny oak tree or a huge oak tree, there's greatness in each one of us.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith,
Well
I think
said,
it's
Dean.
time to go to talk about this it's time to go and talk about this in the inner circle. Got
Yeah.
anything before we leave?
Yeah. Just tell them what the inner circle is.
Well, the inner
Hang in
circle
there.
is where we get together and we talk about this stuff. It's private. It's not on social media. We just talk amongst ourselves in the inner circle to bring these ideas deeper and to relate with them. We do some visualizations sometimes. It's fun. I'm actually looking forward to being there. We've got some great folks with us today. So if you want to join us, as I said earlier, go to newthoughttuesdays.com and click on the little message that says I want to be reminded, and we'll send you a gentle email with the link so you can join us
Yeah.
as people have today. So we
And
will
if
see you next time.
And if you're on the Zoom right now, just stay here. I'm going to shut all the cameras off so that everything is private within the inner circle. And we're going to go right into the inner circle. And we got some exercise and things we're going to do to help you break through any of the boulders or blocks that are keeping you from your highest good. So hang in there and we'll be turning everything off. Anybody
Yep.
else that's out there in the internet land, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Take care.